What's up, everybody? Today, we're going to talk all about main character energy. We're going to talk about personal branding, about content, and how you can better use these concepts to attract and grow a devoted online audience. And also maybe have a little bit more fun with your content in the process. So the question I want to ask today is, should you be the main character of your content? So everyone tells you that as a personal brand, you should be the main character. You should be talking about your life. You should be showing behind the scenes. But it depends. It depends on the platform. It depends on where you're at. Do people even know you right now? So on YouTube, for example, that advice might actually cripple your growth unless you do it right. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your personal brand relatable to your audience. I'm going to talk about when to infuse some of these concepts and when to pull back and when to evolve them. We want your personal brand to resonate with your ideal client. We don't want it to just be a show about you, at least not in the beginning. Stay tuned to the end of the video because we're going to dive into all the intricacies of this concept. And at the end, you're going to feel super clear on actually how you want to show up in your personal brand. So we're going to talk about audience psychology, niche clarity, and how you can build a personal brand that gets to grow and evolve with you. So the first problem that we have to look at is, are we doing this too soon? You don't want to be the main character right out of the gates when you're just starting building, when you're just starting. You do want to be yourself online. You do want to show up authentically. And there's a reason why everybody talks about personal branding. There's a reason why even huge corporations are infusing human-like characteristics into their brand. It's important. So when you pull on those personal branding ties, what you start to do is connect emotionally with your audience. So there's a clear emotional benefit for your audience, and there's a clear financial benefit for you as a business owner to be able to connect with your audience on a human level. The second thing is people connect and buy from human beings, not with companies, not with corporations, not just with your niche, especially with the online world. There are a million people offering your same solution. There are a million people that do what you do. You have to stand out as a personal brand, as a unique human being, or you're just going to get lost. Now, the benefit of leaning into you as a personal brand and not just focusing on your niche and the problem that you solve is your content has way more room to grow and evolve with you. If you only focus on a particular problem on social media or on your YouTube channel, for example, then you're kind of stuck there. And it's going to be an awkward, clunky shift to start talking about something else. On the flip side, if you're going out there making content and you're talking about your dog and your sourdough recipes and marketing and holistic health and politics, you're lost. Your audience is going to be so confused. People aren't going to have any idea what you do, who you are, what you stand for. So you guys might have heard this concept like you are the niche. Well, eventually, I don't think you can actually start there, like building the Carla Treadway brand from zero. If I were to talk about as many things as I do now, it just never would have grown. You can become the niche yourself after you are known, respected, and already a trusted entity. So if you look at a brand like Russell Brand, for example, he talks about a lot of things. He talks about Jesus and politics and conspiracies and living free and music and addiction. And well, he's got millions of followers. He gets to have way more room to play. But if you're starting from zero, if you have an audience under 50,000, you don't want to talk about so many things. You don't want to just lean into you as the brand because that's going to be really confusing, really complex. So think about it. Most successful YouTubers didn't start by talking just about themselves. This is what I ate today. This is my morning routine. They started by solving problems, teaching skills, or telling stories for other people. You are the niche only after you become the brand, after you've already been teaching on some concepts, making some content, building trust with the audience, and they're starting to get to know you. So this is why we wanted to start off with this question. It's not that it's bad to have main character energy. You just might not want to start there. And I say might because nothing is black and white, my friends. Some of you guys come out hot with just these killer personalities and are growing brands right away. Just your personality and the way that you show up, that's possible. But for most business owners, most content creators, you start off making content about other people, and then we slowly evolve into this main character energy. Which brings me to my next note here. So, what if you started creating content not as the main character, but as the hype girl, as the mentor, as the sidekick, as the best friend? When you're building your brand from scratch, you're not really the main character yet. You're the bestie, you're the strategist, you're the translator, you're the mentor, you're helping other people. Your job is to help them, not just to perform and show off yourself. And I'm sure you've seen content like that. Come along with me, come and see my day. And you're like, I don't even know who you are. Why would I want to watch your day? You don't want to make me content right away, or you at least don't want that to be your pivotal content, the thing that you talk about all the time. You want to start with you content. Tutorials, frameworks, tips, cultural commentary, stuff that your audience is going to care about. YouTube's 2024 algorithm started to become increasingly niche focused, especially for newbie creators. If your content themes are scattered, you're just going to get punished in discoverability. And I have sat long and hard with my own strategy here for YouTube because I am a newbie YouTube creator right now. We have the Sovereign CEO podcast where I talk about business, politics, and all things living free. And I actually decided to create an entirely separate channel where I could just talk about business because, quite frankly, there were too many things. And it was okay over on Instagram where I have a much bigger platform and people know me and they know my name. But starting fresh on YouTube, I know that that wasn't going to be okay. So this is what I mean by it depends. I'm known on other platforms, more room to play, Russell Brand style. Over here, total noob. So I had to get more niche with my content until I build trust, show you guys that I can help you with certain solutions, and then eventually we can grow and go from there. So what do you do? Where do you start? The first thing to do is clarify your content themes. So here's a real example. If I gave you guys everything that I would like to talk about on YouTube, it would look crazy. What do I love to talk about in my personal content? Politics, humor, social media, marketing, coaching, sales, content creation, ads, community building, sovereign living, Jesus, travel. Sounds all fun, right? But it's super chaotic for the algorithm. This isn't a niche. This is a personal brand collage. This is a Pinterest board for ADHD entrepreneur. This could work after I've built a huge audience on YouTube, after I built some sort of audience equity, but it's not going to fly right now. So this is a good place to start. Write out all the things that you want to talk about, all the things that you could talk about, all the things that you love. And now we're going to have to start pruning away. I'm sorry to tell you, creative people, it's true. We have to start pruning away. So the first thing that I want you to do is look at that giant list of things that you just wrote and think, well, what are the larger themes? Because you might find that a few of those things fit together. Let's say you saw red light therapy and sourdough and, I don't know, biohacking tools. Like you might find a bigger theme there of biohacking for your health. Or maybe you saw themes of family and faith and personal sovereignty. Can you bulk some of those little content bits into a bigger theme? Then you're going to see some stragglers. Well, I had puzzles there and taco night and memes and humor. And you're going to see these like stragglers. You got to get rid of them. If you can't easily fit them into your bigger themes, into your content bucket, and I mean easily fit, I don't mean stuff it in there, make it work, twist it. Like if it easily fits, keep it. But if you're really doing mental gymnastics to try and keep this thing, why even bother? Just let it go. You do not have to talk about 25 different topics because you can't be known for 25 different things. You want to be known for one thing. So the less things you talk about, the easier it is to become known for something. That being said, most of us struggle to talk about just one thing. This is what I usually tell my clients. If it's really easy for you to make content, If you're a content creation machine and you know you're going to show up every day and you can weave in these like complicated themes together, you get to talk about more things. But if you're the kind of creator that struggles to make content, especially daily content, you struggle with ideas, do not expand to multiple content categories. Just pick one. Pick one. If you're struggling to talk about one thing on one platform daily, do not make things harder on yourself by randomly talking about other things. You need consistency, no matter the platform. Consistency with your posting, consistency with your themes. If you are all over the place, you will never be discovered. This thing won't grow. I'm sorry to tell you. So talk about less things. And you can always grow as you get better at it. As you learn to love the content creation process a little bit more, you can always expand and grow from there. So this channel, for example, if I look at some of those themes, we have branding and marketing strategy for freedom-minded businesses with a backdrop of sovereign living. So that means everything I post has to pass through this filter. If it doesn't serve my protagonist transformation, it probably doesn't belong here. So even if I want to talk about politics, it's got to tie into living free. Right? If it's just something sideways, I got to put it over on the other channel that is a little bit more heavily politics focused. And that's the lens that you always want to put stuff through before you go and make content. So after you've done that for a while, you've kind of trimmed down your content buckets, you've been producing content for a while in these different realms, people are starting to know you. They're getting to know your solutions. They're getting to know your themes. They're getting to know you a little bit more. Well, you can definitely start pulling in more and more of you. Now, the whole time that you're teaching in that realm, it's okay to show like behind the scenes and talk about your personal life and thread like personal stories into those bucket themes. But I wouldn't want it to be like the Carla show right from the beginning. After you've done that for a while and you want to start stepping into that main role, you want to answer some key questions here. The first one, what do I want to be known for? What story am I here to tell? Like, what part of your origin story relates to the work that you do now? And why does that matter to your ideal client? Where did you come from? Where are you going? And more importantly, what will your ideal client see in that story? Where can they see themselves in that story? The origin story can be really tricky for people because I'm sure you guys have lived some pretty exciting lives and you've had lots of things happen to you and you've done a lot of cool things, good things, bad things, crazy stories, boring stories. How do you know which things to pull in? You can't talk about everything. Just like we kind of slimmed out our content buckets, you got to talk about less things. So what is the continued theme? Parts of your story, your origin story relate to the work that you're doing now and the content that you want to create now. You want to create boundaries for the story, just like you create boundaries for your content pillars as well. This is where your origin story, your mission, and your vision really come into play. Because the truth is, when it comes to authentic personal branding, there's still boundaries. People think that they're just wildly authentic on the internet when they like swear and say whatever they want to be, say whatever they want to say. That's not authenticity. That's just emotional permissiveness. And it doesn't actually really serve you as a brand. You can be radically authentic and real and raw and still not unearth all your dirty laundry and say whatever you feel like on the internet. You can still have boundaries. People don't need to know everything about you. You just need to tell the parts of the story that matter most to them and what you're trying to create now. And thank God, right? Thank God that this doesn't get to be the dumping ground for all of your stories, all of your emotions, that it actually gets to be a little bit more intentional. All right, let's look at how you can show up powerfully as the personal brand in your content. Let's look at how you can show up real and authentic, but again, with some of those boundaries. When you're showing up authentically in your content, you get to talk about your story. So you get to talk about strengths and weaknesses. When I make content, again, I don't just say whatever I feel like. I'll share certain stories, but not every story. Like you'll never hear me like talking about a fight that I had with my husband, and my content has nothing to do with the work that I do now. I don't really ever show my children in my content or what I'm struggling with or loving about that because it has nothing to do with my content, my mission, my vision. I will share things that I'm good at. I will share success stories. I will also share vulnerable moments and weaknesses. And that's something that you can do to really bring your audience along with you, talking about your strengths and your weaknesses. So my strengths, I'm unapologetically authentic. People are always emailing me, sending messages to the show saying, thank you for talking about that. Like, I've always wanted to. Finally, someone is having that conversation. So I don't shy away from big topics. I take big risks with my content and with my business. And I have a massive gift for branding, for messaging, for content strategy. And I use that with my clients. My weaknesses, I do talk about this often. I am very ADHD, very forgetful. I don't always follow through on my projects to 100%. I'm like not a details person. I am not a perfectionist. I can easily overwhelm myself and my team with creative chaos. I juggle way too many business ideas at once. Plus, we have chickens and gardens and boats and kids and all of this stuff that comes from living in the bush. And I'll share those stories. The key is to share selectively and strategically. So even when I'm sharing my weaknesses and the things that I'm struggling with, all right, I'm really struggling with my ADHD and getting projects done. Thank God I have Meigs and the systems that we build in the business, and she helps keep me on track. So, it's intentional. This builds trust. I'm not just showing up on YouTube to trauma dump, not just showing up on YouTube to complain. I'm not just here whining about all the things that are going wrong for me. If I am sharing a weakness, it's purposeful and it's leading you guys to a solution that has worked for me. Or maybe I'm showing up to ask you guys questions. What do you do to handle your ADHD brain? Before you go and make any kind of content, though, it's okay to talk about yourself and be that main character. But you always want to be asking, who am I making this content for? Don't just think about what you want to say. Think about who needs to hear this and why. Who am I showing up in service to? So fill in this blank for me. This channel is for this kind of person who wants this transformation. Write this at the top of your content planning document before you even start writing. Remind yourself of who you're creating for. Otherwise, it's really easy just to get sidetracked into all the stories. So for me, this channel looks like a place for sovereign, critically thinking entrepreneurs, personal brands, and creators who want to build a freedom-based business with cult-level impact. It's simple, it's specific, it's super magnetic, right? And it's different. Other people aren't doing that. So when I feel that pull to talk about my lunch that day or what happened in politics, I have to remember, does this serve my audience and what I said I was here to do? So final words here. You are a person that is worth listening to, whether you are just getting started, day one, or you've been doing this for a long time. You have personal stories, an origin story, a mission and vision that other people can relate to. And it's important to pull that into your content. Even if you're just talking about finance or business building or gut health, bring you into the content. You can be the main character in your content, but don't forget about who you are in service to. Don't forget about doing this strategically. Create content intentionally. Find those content buckets. What does your ideal client audience need to hear? What's going to be most helpful for them? You want to infuse you into this process because it's going to give you more room to play. So remember, if you just talk about the one singular problem that you're trying to solve and you never pull you into the content, it's a bit boring. There's lots of people doing that, lots of people doing what you do, and people won't be able to build that connection. So we don't want to do that. But we also want to show up here solving real problems, making entertaining, educational content, and relating to people in a human way. That's going to help build your brand. That's going to help you build your channel. And that's also just going to make work a little bit more fun for you so that you also just don't get stuck in one lane. You earn the right to be the main character in your content, but first be the guide, be the problem solver, be the translator, be the pattern breaker. Make content that serves other people first, and then evolve into the kind of voice that people want more of. And one day soon, you're going to post a video that breaks every niche rule, Russell Brand style, and people will love it because it's you. And they've been with you for this whole journey and they like you and they're excited to see what you're building. That's what we're building here with this kind of brand. Like, that is freedom to be able to help people, to make an impact, and also show up as you are. Do the things that are fun for you, make content, and keep growing. If you like this video, if this resonated with you, I'd love for you to do two things: like and subscribe. It genuinely helps this message spread. It's the only way that really we grow the channel. And if you want to help me even more, watch the next video where I can help you build a better system for your freedom business. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you for another one here soon.